Straight shooter Stephen A. Smith joins the table to give his take on hot topics. Plus, we're kicking off 12 days of holidays on The View with the hottest toys kids want this season. Here come Hot Topics with Whoopi, Sarah Haynes, Joy Behar, Anna Navarro, Sunny Hostin, and Alyssa Farah Griffin. Now let's get things started.
Welcome back, Alyssa.
Thank you.
How are you feeling? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling totally better, but
Excellent.
Getting sick while you're pregnant is no joke.
Yeah.
Everyone wash, do your whole thing.
No Tylenol for you.
I can't do anything. But I'm feeling great. I'm not contagious, and I missed you.
You know,
We missed you.
I'm really excited we're going to have a baby on
We
the
have
show.
a, yeah, it's been a
We're having
while.
a baby!
And it's going to be painless.
Yes.
We don't even have to do the
We're
work.
having
She's gotta
a
do it.
baby.
I mean,
Our co-host and we.
used to have a million babies.
Yeah.
This one had babies. And
I
you
had
have
babies,
them.
Yeah.
Abby had babies.
We like
And
that.
so, yeah, it's a
It's
wonderful
exciting.
thing. It's a wonderful thing. And I don't know whether y'all know this, but we walked out to Candy Cane Lane by Sia to celebrate our brand new holiday set.
Oh, it's so
Very
beautiful.
Yeah. You know? But because this is what we do for a living, we've got to tell you what's going on in the world. Defense Secretary. You know who I'm talking about. Pete Hegseth is already in the hot seat over strikes on an alleged narco boat. But now sources say an inspector general report that could be released as soon as today found that he could have put troops' lives at risk back in March by using a signal chat to discuss imminent attack in Yemen. Hegseth claims that the report totally exonerates him. But Republicans, like Senator Tom Tillis, they don't seem to be buying it. Watch.
No one can rationalize that as an exoneration. We know that mission information was outside of the classified setting that it was trusted to be in. And, you know, Caitlin, I don't even bring a pen into a classified briefing. We obviously don't have our phones, we don't have our watches. I don't even bring a pen in to make notes, to remove any doubt that there is something that I could have dropped or put in the trash can that I forgot about, because that's how seriously you need to take classified information.
Yeah.
So,
He's right.
you know, so Hegseth is trying to justify that this report clearly clears his name. Nobody had read the report yet. Nobody knows what's in it. So how does he know it exonerates? What is happening?
What I'm wondering is if they forgot that in 2016, we heard all about a private server, Hillary Clinton's emails.
Oh, yeah.
It could have been confidential. What was in that information? And there was a lot of outrage. And arguably, it was one of the top few reasons that people credited with I could never vote for her, because she doesn't know how to handle confidential information. Then we sit here now, and I'm not seeing the same outrage over literal war plans shared hours before with people like your sister and your brother.
Podiatrist.
And then, by the way, it shows you why there are skiff rooms and there are channels to do this stuff, because you could accidentally, I don't know, include a reporter on it.
Yeah.
Which he did. So the point here is that, like, it's all wrong, but like, why would you harp on how bad this was, how endangering it could be, when you actually did the thing and you did endanger the troops? And I'm not seeing the same outrage for something as egregious
Why
as
not?
this. Because we pick our battles. We're selective outrage.
Because it's become normalized.
It's not normalized.
It is.
It is people that were outraged before, typically were on the right, and they're going to apologize for Hegseth. And that's why they're not mad now. But if you're being consistent, and you really cared, you should really care right now
Yeah,
that
but
this
they
was
don't.
shared.
I also miss the buck stops with me in leadership.
Yeah.
He is the Secretary of Defense. He's
Correct.
one of 2 people on the planet who can direct a U.S. military strike on behalf of the United States. He's an incredibly powerful person. So whether it's this with Signalgate, when we learned about all of this, any thinking person was like, you shouldn't have done this. This could have endangered troops. At minimum, it was reckless, and thank God nothing bad happened. He should have taken responsibility then. And I know you guys have been talking earlier in the week about these Venezuelan alleged drug boat interdictions that we've seen in these double tap strikes that have taken place. He now seems to be throwing under the bus Admiral Brady, who's someone I don't know well, but I worked with at the Pentagon. He is somebody who has a stellar reputation, is respected by both sides of the aisle. And I will say, we don't have all the facts. I have a hard time believing that he would have called for what amounts, I would believe, to a war crime with the information that he had. So whether he got wrong information from someone above him in directing that, it just doesn't feel like the secretary he's the one who should be taking responsibility. Instead, he's just pointing the finger.
Well, he had a
this is
meeting,
someone
Alyssa.
else's.
He had to leave the room.
Despite taking credit for the strike on
But
Fox
Trump
News.
won't do anything about it. He'll just call it a hoax and send the ICE into New Orleans like he's doing.
And I'm sorry,
You know,
Admiral
he's-
Bradley, I said
to
Brady.
distract from the whole thing. He's not going to get rid of him.
I don't think he's
so.
going to get rid of him either, because it would be, admitting that he put forth the wrong person, right? And he's supposedly surrounds himself with the best people. But I think that Mark
But
Kelly.
there's so many like that.
They're so unqualified.
there's so many.
I'm telling you, when you hire a clown, you got a circus, and so that's what happens. So we've got this a government circus. But what I will say is, Mark Kelly, who is a veteran, astronaut, member of the Armed Services Committee, he said this about the report. He said it's pretty clear he shouldn't have been using his cell phone and an insecure app, unofficial app with regards to the Department of Defense, to be sharing that kind of information. It's not too hard to see how our adversaries can get that information, pass it on to the Houthis in this case, and put military lives at risk. It's just so very simple, and that is because, like you said, there's no real leadership at the top. It's a circus.
I mean, does anybody? I mean, think about it. Everybody's playing dress up. Everybody's playing, from Christy Nome to Pete Hegseth to Cash Patel. They're all playing dress up. It's like they think they're in a movie.
Yeah.
Well, in the States,
Wait a minute, but they were on a lot of Hegseth he found on television.
Yes, but he wasn't in the movies.
No. All right. Picky.
I am
stakes
big.
couldn't be higher when we're talking about the Department of Defense. Because again, on this issue of these military strikes in the Caribbean, listen, I am the first person to say we need to stop the flow of illicit drugs into this country. We all know people who have had their lives ruined from fentanyl coming into this country. The vast majority is not
from Venezuela.
No, it's not coming from Venezuela. And by the way,
Anna's point.
it's coming from Mexico. And the
Coming
border
from several places,
Yes.
including inside our own country.
Correct.
That too.
But by the way, the border is largely secured, and that's something Donald Trump has taken credit for. Secure the border, and we don't need to engage in military operations to stop boats because the fentanyl will not be able to come in. Just focus on the homeland.
Here's my point.
Doesn't
If you have people on a boat, and you blow up the boat, and there's 2 people hanging on the side of the boat, they're not carrying fentanyl. They're not swimming with the fentanyl on them.
Yeah.
So they weren't posing any danger.
And it's a war crime according to the
And
military.
we're not at war with anybody.
That's right.
Yeah, but
No
no
one's
one's
voted
They
for
would
war.
rather have an allegation of a war crime than let people in America focus on a bad economy and the Epstein files.
Yeah.
They would rather you look over here than over here. And that's what this
Well,
is
there's
about to
also
me.
something more at play here. He's working some angle that doesn't have to do with drugs, whether it's regime change or oil. It's
It
something
could be
else.
it's everything but what we
What
need.
it is.
Yeah.
You know, we need y'all to pay attention. And we're going to keep saying it, and we're going to keep pointing it out. And this is what reporters and everybody else needs to do. When you hear someone is saying and giving bad information, like Abby Phillips did the other day, she said, that is not true. That is not happening. We all need more of that because that's the only way we're going to stop this in the bud.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. Welcome back. Stephen A. Smith has no shortage of opinions, whether he's talking about sports on ESPN's First Take or politics on his new Sirius XM show, Straight Shooter with Stephen A. So please welcome back Stephen A. Smith.
What's up, ladies? How you doing?
We have a question. Aren't you on live right now?
Yes.
Okay.
But I went on there from 10 to 11, and then they
then you
said
took a
they
break?
needed. My teammates at ABC needed me here, so I'm here.
I see.
You're right across the hall, though.
That's right.
It is nice to have you as a neighbor and at the table.
Thank you so much. Good to see y'all.
So it's been a minute since you were here. Last time you were here, it was 6 weeks into Trump 2.0, his
Yes.
second administration. And you had some really sharp criticisms of Democrats in the election for having sort of lost touch with the issues the voters cared about.
Yep.
How are you feeling now a year into Trump? And what do you make of this discussion around affordability and him saying it seems like it's a scam from Democrats?
Well, that's rhetoric on his part. There's nothing surprising or unpredictable about that. You could see that coming from a mile away because he has to say that right now because it's an issue and a concern for the American people. And he wants to act as if there is no concern because everything he's doing is just so beautiful and so marvelous and what have you. But in the end, the Democrats give the credit where credit is due at this particular moment in time. I think that they've learned from some of their mistakes anyway. When you see what happened in New York with Mamdani, when you see what happens in New Jersey with Cheryl as the governor, when you see what happens with Spanberger in Virginia, clearly there's something that's going on within the Democratic establishment that's saying, let's focus on real issues that are pertinent to the American people. Let's make sure we articulate ourselves appropriately so we don't lose sight of what the message should be. Leading up to the election, they did just that, and I thought they handed him the election as opposed to him actually winning it. Now they're forcing him to play ball and figure out a way to beat them because they're coming and they're gaining some momentum. We'll see what happens from there.
Well, Stephen, as we wait the release of the Epstein files, House Oversight Democrats released this trove of really creepy photos from inside Jeffrey Epstein's private island.
Yep.
So I want to ask you, is this the tip of the iceberg? What do you think the Trump administration will actually and ultimately release? And if they have nothing to hide, why did they fight so forcefully against this?
Well, I'm suspicious. I'm suspicious in terms of, you know, the hesitancy in releasing the Epstein files, particularly when it's something you campaigned on.
Yeah.
So I think in that regard, fine. But I also believe that there are people that have seen the Epstein files, and if there was something directly incriminating about Trump, it's something that would have been, we would have found out about it before the election because every measure would have been exhausted to make sure he didn't return to the White House. I do believe, however, when you have power brokers in place, what happens is on both sides of the aisle, it could be people in those Epstein files that can be severely incriminated, obviously. And
Well, they
anybody
protect each other.
Well, they protect each other. And
You don't
anybody
think Trump is in the files? I mean, he was mentioned over 1,000 times.
I'm not saying he wasn't in the file. It wasn't in the files. I'm saying that if it was something really, really incriminating against him, I think we would have heard about it by now. I think him and others on both sides of the aisle they have friends that they're trying to protect.
Well, and it could be billionaires and people that
Sure, that's what I'm
supply
talking about.
their whole
That's what I'm talking
ledger,
about. That's what I'm talking about. And let's not
But wasn't Trump...
let's not act like that's a surprise.
He says he was a very close friend of his. I mean, he denies that.
Once upon a time,
was.
he did say that, but there's also videos of him calling out Epstein and saying, down the line, beware, because there's going to be some dirt you're going to find out about this man.
Yeah, but remember
That
what
was.
year he said that in.
2015.
Yeah. That's kind of, you know.
They did reportedly have a falling out, but...
They did. I heard it was over some property in Florida, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the excuses for it is what it is, but the point is that Epstein was doing what he was doing for years.
Yeah.
So whether it was 2015, 2010, I don't care when it was. If you're that kind of despicable human being, I want to find out about it. I don't give a damn if it was 20 years ago, 40 years ago. If you were that kind of person, we need to know you about
So
it.
you want to see the files?
Well, of course I want to see the files.
Me too.
Of course I want to see
Me
the files.
too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about this, because Trump is claiming that he aced the cognitive test. Even though he's going on late-night Truth Social tirades, in the middle of the night, he's texting and calling Governor Walz a name that we don't use anymore. It's a disability. He's attacking female reporters as piggy and ugly. He's falling asleep in the middle of a meeting. I mean, I said yesterday that Marco Rubio is boring, but not that boring that he would fall asleep. So what do you think's going on with him?
Trump is being Trump.
Really? There's nothing cognitively wrong there?
Well, I'm not saying whether there is or isn't. What I'm saying is 77 million people don't care. They voted for him. And those same 77 million people
Is it still that number?
They would do it. Well, you could say that it is or isn't, but the point is he's the president of the United States. Despite the onslaught of stuff that was coming his way, he knocked off folks, and the Democrats let him because they weren't on their game. Now you have to look at, because obviously he's not going to circumvent the 22nd Amendment, which will enable him to run for a third term. So now you're talking about J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio is considered the adult in the room, the Secretary of State, National Defense, the National Security Advisor. You got J.D. Vance, he's the vice president, but he seems more Trump-ish in terms of how he conducts himself and how he's willing to go after people. So who is Trump going to support? One of the things that I talked about on my show was that I said, don't fall for it. Look at what Trump is doing. Trump is positioning himself to remain in power even if he isn't the president. Yeah. He wants to make sure he maintains that level of influence. And so because of, when you see what he's done with the Honduras president, letting him out, pardoning him, even though the man is alleged to assist in funneling 400 tons of cocaine into the United States.
He was serving 45 years.
He was serving 45 years, absolutely. And you let him out in the same breath. You're bombing people in the Caribbean for the very thing that you said was a problem.
Well, let's talk about the bombing.
He's doing what he's doing, but in the end, what it comes down to is that you're going to have to beat him because he is going to make sure he dictates who his successor is going to be.
If he stays away.
Anticipate he's going to be away.
My friend, I want to talk to you about the bombing, my friend. And some things that you recently said. You know I like you, right? Okay, so you recently accused Senator Mark Kelly, a veteran, an astronaut, of crossing the line for participating in a video reminding troops that they can refuse to follow illegal orders. Okay. Let's see some of what you said, my friend.
Sure.
You know better, Senator Kelly. You know better. How dare you do that? You could go to the House. You can draw up paperwork. You can try to start articles of impeachment if you think there's something illegal. I mean, damn, it ain't like y'all haven't done it before. You impeached the man twice. Where'd that get you? Got us behind back in the White House. Had you left him alone since 2020, maybe he wouldn't be back. You don't tell military men and women to ignore an order from the commander-in-chief. You don't do that.
Caffeine's a bitch, you know?
Now, let me just remind you that Pete Hegseth said in 2016, I do think there have to be consequences for abject war crimes. If you're doing something that is just completely unlawful and ruthless, then there is a consequence for that. That's why the military said it won't follow unlawful orders from their commander-in-chief. Okay. Now, given the fact that the secretary himself said that, I'd love to give you the opportunity to perhaps change your position on what you said.
I'm not changing a thing.
Okay.
I didn't stutter when I said it.
You want to stay loud and wrong?
Well, you could call it loud and wrong all you want to. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to mine. Okay. Here's the reality of the situation. First of all, I don't give a damn what Pete Hegseth has to say because I will tell you right now, he was never qualified for the job. When you talk about DEI and eradicating that, excuse me, what was he doing hosting Fox News on the weekend and all of a sudden he's the defense secretary? Please, give me a break. I don't care what he has to say. Let me get that out the way. As it pertains to Mark Kelly, what I was talking about is military. What I did was get on the phone with family and friends who have served in the military. And I said, we're not civilians. This is not the court of law. You can be implicated for implying something if you are a former military member or you are a present military member. It wasn't what Mark Kelly said. It's the fact that he was a combat Navy pilot who served in the military who would tell folks, ignore an order when it could get them in the
He did not say
I said
illegal.
I said illegal. I'm talking about illegal. I understand that.
He said you don't have to follow an unlawful order, and that is in the military code of conduct.
And I'm saying to you, hold on, which I'm aware of.
But it didn't sound like you were aware of that.
Well, no. I disagree with you.
Stephen, can I ask you a question?
I had two governors, by the way, text me to tell me I was wrong, and they agree with you.
You are wrong.
I had two senators that reached out to me and said, you weren't wrong at all.
Well, Mikey Sherrill did say that the reason they felt the need to put that out is they were constantly being approached by people in the military saying, we're being put in really uncomfortable situations. But that to me is a little more relatable when you're a veteran yourself.
But I'm saying let me say this real quick.
You got to do it real quick. Or wait till we come back.
All I'm saying is this. If you're a member of the military, I'm looking at the soldiers as saying, don't get yourself in trouble. Let somebody else do it. Don't you do it because it ain't gonna work for you.
But you get
Sorry, that was
Alyssa
Alyssa Slotkin, not Mikey Sherrill.
I'm sorry. Okay, so whoever it was, you can clean up when we come back because we have more with Stephen A. Smith when we return. We are back with Stephen A. Smith. Joy has the question. You have the question.
Okay.
But you already asked this one.
I did?
Yeah, I think you did.
Well, no, now we're talking about something else. We're talking about the fact that there seems to be a little bit of a crack in the MAGA world. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene was on here apologizing for her behavior.
Yeah.
And also basically going against Trump about the Epstein files, wanting them released. Also, not just her, Massey, who is a Republican, Boebert, Nancy Mace, and also even Elise Stefanik is turning on Mike Johnson. There's a little bit of some rebellion going on in the
there's no
Republican
doubt about
Party.
it. Well, first of all, when the whole SNAP program issue came in the fold, remember, a lot of that existed in the red states as well. So you had members of the Republican parties that had constituency to represent, and they weren't feeling like they were doing the job. That's number one. In the case of Marjorie Taylor Greene, remember, she came into office worth $700,000. According to the reports, departing worth $25 million. So I think she's doing just fine. It's one of those situations.
How did she make that money?
Well, I have no idea. You'd
Yes,
have to ask her. But
know.
I would tell you this. I think that she thought that she was going to be more supportive from Trump. According to a lot of leaks out of Washington, she had aspirations to run for the Senate seat in Georgia. Trump wasn't supportive of that. She felt betrayed considering how loyal she had been to him. Not to mention the fact that, again, SNAP situation, healthcare, the Epstein files that he campaigned on, that all of a sudden he went against, and she was a big proponent of opening those Epstein files. So they're clearly not on the same page. Some people are not on the same page with Trump. We understand that because, again, he's approaching his time up, and people are trying to reposition themselves for power, and sometimes that breaks those cracks of loyalty that you thought you had.
So it wasn't altruistic, her position. You're saying it was self-serving.
I don't know, but when you go from 700,000 to 25 million, I don't think the word self-serving is taboo.
Stephen, when we asked you if you wanted to run for president last time, you said, quote, hell no. So why is your name still being floated around as a contender? And is there anything that could change that to a hell yes?
Well, number one, because I think that I'd probably be a better candidate than most Democrats. That's number one. I wouldn't say that about Wes Moore. I wouldn't say that about
love
Josh
Wes Moore.
Shapiro.
Good.
I love Wes Moore. I love Josh Shapiro. Ro Khanna, I'm a fan of. I like him a lot.
Jason Crow,
you got to pay attention to Gavin Newsom. He's gaining some traction. I don't think he'll win, but he's gaining traction.
Why not?
Because I think that ultimately they'll look at the state of California, look
California's
at
a tough
affordability,
sell.
look at homelessness, look at crime, and they'll say, hello, highest cost of living in the country. They'll be like, what? Wait a minute now. So I think that'll be a problem for him, but he's articulate enough to defend himself, and we'll see what happens with that. But
that's not his fault.
But as it pertains to me, I don't have any desire to be a politician. My life is really, really nice. But in the same breath, when I see what I saw prior to the election, if you're going to come to me and tell me that's our alternative, what was going on before the election, and you're saying, Stephen A., you could be on the debate stage with these politicians and you get an opportunity to call them out.
Are you referring to
I
Kamala?
would love it. I'm referring to all of them. Everybody. Nobody's getting a pass from the Democratic Party. Well, again, she was the candidate, but we know what happened. I thought she was set up to fail by the Democratic Party personally because you bypassed the primary. You knew that Biden wasn't ready. You knew it for a year, and you did nothing. And you were really trying to sell the American people on pushing him forward as the Democratic nominee, knowing that inauguration he would have been 82 years of age. Stop it.
So what?
They knew better. That's a problem for him, not everybody. Nancy Pelosi is sharp, but Biden didn't appear that way. Period.
He may not have appeared that way, but my stuff was a lot cleaner and better when he was in.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just going to say it. And I'm going to say one more thing because, I know that you have very strong feelings about Democrats, but I do have this to say to you. It was important, I think, for Democrats to show that they stood with the LGBT community, that they stood with black women and women in general, because once you let us go, once you let women and poor people go, what do you have? And so I've listened to lots of people say, that you didn't follow what was necessary. They did it the way they thought they could. It didn't work for them. They got it.
See, respectfully, I don't like that. Let me explain.
That's okay.
Let me explain.
Just like you said to Sonny.
Let me explain.
He sure did say that to me.
Let me
We're
explain.
going to come back. We have to take a break.
We have to take a break?
We have to take a break.
When you come back, you can explain.
Okay.
More with Stephen A. Smith.
Grab your gift list for a special edition of View Your Deal, because we've partnered with vendors for at least half off, a haul for the holidays. So get shopping right now at viewyourdeal.com.
We're back with Stephen A. Smith. You were about to disagree.
I was disagreeing with this. As a Democrat, the bottom line is this. When we talk about poor people, who ain't thinking about poor people? Democratic Party, I know I do. I know that most candidates within the Democratic Party that I know they think about poor folks. I know they think about the desolate and the disenfranchised. I get that. But what I'm saying is that during the campaign, were you doing what it takes to win? You had too many people going after him for stuff that wasn't going to stick. It wasn't going to influence his voters. So what I would say to you, Whoopi, and what I would say to anybody that doesn't want J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio or somebody like that to succeed him, focus on what's going to win.
Yeah.
That's where my sports background comes in. Tell me what's going to win. I don't want to hear, but I understand the LGBTQ community is important. I understand that the desolate and disenfranchised is somebody we should always be looking out for. I understand the economy. I understand immigration. I get all of that. But the point is, I'm trying to win to make sure that I'm in office and you're not. What is it going to take? The Democrats did not do that last time. And that's what happens.
What is the winning issue now?
Affordability and safety.
Yes.
Period. Affordability and safety in the streets of the United States of America. And a willingness to cross the aisle and show that you're willing to work with people to get stuff done so we don't have this chaos just because we disagree.
I think that the Democrats try harder than the Republicans to do that.
Well,
really?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Here's what we do know. We do know that you can listen to Straight Shooter with Stephen A. Smith on Sirius XM every Wednesday night from 6 to 8 p.m. You can catch him every morning on ESPN's First Take, except he took a little break today. Plus, he'll be joining Alyssa today on the Behind the Table podcast. Sometimes I just talk too much. We'll be back.
To deliver an easy, affordable, magical shopping experience to find new and exclusive toys for the little ones in your life. And Target
the big ones.
And the big ones, sorry. And the big ones. And Target just made holiday shopping so much easier with their new lineup of digital tools. This year, you can scan a handwritten list and it will instantly create a digital one. You can also use Target's AI gift finder to pick the perfect gift, browse a digital catalog that connects your toy wish list to the best deals, and so much more. So right now, we're getting the inside scoop on the hottest holiday toys available from our sponsor, Target, and our favorite toy expert, Elizabeth Werner.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy. Okay, so these are going to go fast, and they're at the best prices possible. So scan that QR code and grab them now before they're gone. Okay, so if the kids want screen time, as parents we're hesitant, but not when it's from Leapfrog. Because what they do is they have a great curriculum built into everything. Well, get this. This little unit plugs directly into your TV. There's no internet, no batteries, no cartridges, 25 games and adventures built in. Your child actually is the star of the game. They'll see themselves on the screen.
That is so cute.
3 different learning levels, and they're going to work on everything from phonics to reading to math. Now, would you like to give it a try?
You can read my mind.
So, I want you to use your arms, your head, your legs. There we go. So look, as they're physically exercising, they're going to be up and moving. But what I want you to know is every screen ends in learning. Whether it's math, reading. All right. You did it. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
That is so cool.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, I'm sweating.
All right, you got your heart pumping?
I got my heart
That's
pumping.
what the kids are going to be doing. All right, here, you earned a necklace from this.
Oh,
so this is one of my favorites. It's called Clixo. This is a magnetic building system that kids are loving. When they work with these, They're problem solving. They're being creative. They're coming up with new ideas.
Right.
Sometimes the ideas work. Sometimes the
they
ideas don't work. But that's all part of it. But look at what they can do with propellers. We've got a Christmas tree, a menorah. As they're working on this with the family, you can have competitions. You can build. You can
take them to restaurants. You can throw a stack of these in your bag. We do that.
Carry it in a Ziploc. Take it everywhere you go. And then you don't need a screen.
No,
this is what you
there
need.
are no screens in this house.
Exactly. So this is for all ages and all abilities, and they're going to have fun. I love it.
So cute.
I love it.
My time.
It's your necklace. I love. All right. So we learned to build, and we learned letters, and we learned math, but we also need social emotional learning. Look at the tail on that. I've seen hundreds of thousands of toys over the years. This one just sticks in my head. So first of all, when you pet their little head,
they blink.
Yep, they blink. They walk. Their little tails move. Look at this. And we can feed them a little bottle. Look at the eyes. They make little sounds. And you know, what if you want to take them for a walk? Look at this! Stop! There you go.
They are so cute.
Wow, okay,
There you go.
Oh my God.
Absolutely love this. This is Maggie, and this is going to help them learn to nurture and love, and it's adorable.
She's
All right,
so
you keep
cute.
yours. You keep yours. Okay, so we're going to go from adorable and loving to everybody loves a toy that flies until it lands in a tree. Okay, here you go. So what if you could have a toy that you just gently toss in the air? Ah! That's it. Now, go ahead and play. Tap. Let's tap.
Okay, ready?
It'll come down. It'll come down. It'll come down. It'll come down. And then when they lower themselves, and here's how we turn it off. Just,
We lost Whoopi.
Be gone!
Isn't that the coolest?
I mean, you know, hysterical.
I love that.
So now we have this really fun collaboration. I was so excited. We've got Barbie. Hello.
Yep.
We've got Play-Doh.
Oh.
Now what we're going to do is we are going to dress Barbie from head to toe in Play-Doh
That's
fashion.
Play-Doh?
The hair, the clothing. So
Oh my God.
Look at these little strips of Play-Doh.
Oh my
so they've got
gosh.
fabrics and patterns. You've got extruders that are going to help you make ribbons that you're going to put all around.
That's what this whole
That's
dress is.
all this dress
looks like a
is.
Christian Siriano, Whoopi. You can wear this to the Oscars.
And even the
Maybe
hair.
a different color.
I love it. I love it. And this one in particular comes with a whole play set. At the end of the day, everything goes back inside, and they'll use it over and over.
Oh, that is so cute.
She's snoring. She's
Oh,
ready
I
for
love
her nap.
that.
So I love this collaboration. This is going to be really hot. Okay, now you know, one of my favorite things is I want the family playing together because these are the memories the kids carry forever. Grandma, aunts,
My
uncles.
family's lucky if they get included.
And this is Marshmallow Madness. Now, you're going to put your face in there. You're going to use those little tiny hands, and you're going to try and grab as many
It's the
marshmallows
little
as you
Kristen
can.
Wiig hand.
And then you're going to use those hands to... Look at Whoopi. Go ahead, go ahead. There she is. Yeah! It is so much fun. You turn these over. You give yourself 60 seconds. I like getting 2 of them so you can compete. So Grandma and Grandpa is going to be playing the grandkids. Did you get it? Did you get it?
I got some.
Did you get it? I mean,
I'm not winning, but I got some.
Little hands can be very complicated.
Apparently.
But these are so much fun, and this is what the kids will remember. Here you go. Get some you want some extras?
Here.
There you go.
Open up. I
There
got
we
you
go.
one. I got you one.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
That is so...
Are you ready to roll?
I'm ready to roll.
Oh, yeah,
All right,
you
Whoopi,
guys
you're going to
get
be
out
in
there.
charge of this race that's about to occur.
Every time
Whoopi,
I
watch your knees.
Run me over.
Put our helmets on. These are called Crazy Cart Shuffles. They're
We
fun.
have this at our house.
Tell me. Go
and
on.
we left it indoors.
Because...
Don't take this set down.
Woo!
Much harder to do in a dress.
That's not so easy in a skirt. But look at you go. Here's why I love this.
Don't let your wardrobe slow you
It's kid
down.
powered. There's no batteries, right? No batteries. Nothing to charge. Your kids are going to exercise. This holds up to 150 pounds.
Oh, I know it holds up to a...
And it grows with your child because the actual frame
I know it
itself-
extends. We've done it all.
Yeah, you can extend it. So everyone, listen, Mom and Dad, get in on the fun. These are
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
amazing. Come on, girl.
Oh my God, Elizabeth! Wait, I love you. This is my favorite segment every year. Thank you for always showing us the hottest holiday toys. These deals are so hot, so we suggest you get shopping right now while supplies last. And thank you to our sponsor, Target. Again, scan the QR code on your screen right now and stay tuned because we have a surprise that even our at-home audience can get in on. Shh. Okay, go. Our studio audience to bring a new unwrapped toy to be donated to the Marine Toys for Tots program for children in need. In celebration of the Disney Ultimate Toy Drive, Disney is also donating a toy to Toys for Tots in honor of each audience member here today. As part of the Disney Holiday Magic Tour, Disney is donating to Toys for Tots to help bring more than 100,000 toys to kids and communities across the country. You at home can also join Disney in making holiday magic by donating a toy to Toys for Tots at disney.com/holidaymagic. Disney Ultimate Toy Drive takes place now through December 24th.
Yay!
Yes!
Wait a minute. Look who just arrived. Santa, what are you doing here?
Well, Whoopi, I couldn't miss making my annual stop at the View to kick off the 12 days of holidays.
Yay!
What is it you really want to say to our audience?
That they're going home with a $130 Target gift card and all of these toys.